June 15, 1951, 7 a.m. Marcus Johnson, Jr., age 8, was walking to school. PS 154, 3 blocks from his house on 142nd Street. His mother, Elena, watched from the window, like every morning. Saw him turn the corner, waved. He waved back. That was the last time she saw him free. 7:03 a.m. A black Cadillac pulled up beside Marcus. 2 men jumped out, grabbed him, hand over his mouth, threw him in the back seat. The car sped away. The whole thing took 11 seconds. Mrs. Washington, the corner store owner, saw it happen, screamed, ran to Elena's house, pounded on the door. Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson. Elena opened the door. What's wrong? Your boy. They took your boy. What? 2 men in a car. They grabbed Marcus, took him.
Elena's world stopped, then exploded. She screamed, ran into the street. Marcus, Marcus! But the Cadillac was gone. 7:15 a.m., Marcus Johnson Sr. got the call. At work, construction site. Your son's been taken. He dropped everything, ran, arrived home in 12 minutes. Found Elena hysterical. Neighbors gathering. Police already there. Detective Murphy taking statements. Marcus Sr. pushed through. Where's my son? Detective Murphy looked up. Mr. Johnson, we're doing everything we can. That's not what I asked. Where is he? We don't know yet, but we have witnesses. Mrs. Washington saw, black Cadillac, 2 white men, grabbed your boy, drove toward Brooklyn. Marcus Sr.'s blood went cold. White men, Brooklyn. That meant one thing. Dutch Keller.
7:30 a.m. Marcus Sr. made a call, the only call that mattered, to his older brother, Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy was at home, having breakfast with Mamie. The phone rang. Bumpy answered. Bumpy, it's Marcus. What's wrong? They took him. They took my boy. Who took him? I don't know, but he's gone. 2 men, white, grabbed him on his way to school. Bumpy's hand tightened on the phone. When? 30 minutes ago. Where are you now? At home, with Elena. She's not good, Bumpy. I'm on my way. Bumpy hung up, looked at Mamie. His face had changed. Hard, dangerous. What happened? They took Marcus Jr. Who? Don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. Mamie grabbed his hand. Bumpy, be careful. This is family. Careful doesn't matter. 7:45 a.m. Bumpy arrived at his brother's house, found chaos, neighbors everywhere, police asking questions, Elena sobbing in the living room, Marcus Sr. pacing. Bumpy walked in. Everyone went quiet. He went straight to his brother. Tell me everything. Marcus Sr. explained. 7 a.m., walking to school. 2 men, black Cadillac, grabbed him, gone. Bumpy turned to Mrs. Washington. You saw them? Yes, Mr. Johnson. Describe them. One was tall, maybe 6'2", blonde hair. The other was shorter, dark hair, both white, both wearing suits. The car? Black Cadillac, new, maybe 50 or 51. License plate? Didn't see it. Which direction? Toward Brooklyn. Bumpy nodded, turned to Detective Murphy. What are you doing? Following leads, checking hospitals.
Putting out an APB. That's not enough. Mr. Johnson, with respect, that's not enough. Bumpy pulled Murphy aside, spoke quietly. This is my nephew, 8 years old. Whoever took him has maybe 12 hours before I burn this city down. So I'm going to ask you one more time. What are you doing?
Murphy understood. Bumpy Johnson was many things: criminal, gangster, killer. But he was also an uncle, and family meant everything. I'll put every available officer on this. Thank you. But Murphy? Yes, I'm not waiting for you. I'm finding him myself. Murphy nodded. Just try not to kill too many people. No promises. 8 a.m. Bumpy left his brother's house, made calls. Junie, Willie, Raymond, Tommy Chen, everyone. Emergency meeting. Small's Paradise. 30 minutes. By 8:30, 40 men filled Bumpy's back office. Every soldier, every enforcer, every person who owed him loyalty. Bumpy stood at the front. Here's the situation. My 8-year-old nephew, Marcus, was kidnapped this morning, 7 a.m., on his way to school. 2 white men.
Black Cadillac, heading toward Brooklyn. I need him found, now. Junie spoke up. Do we know who took him? Not yet, but I have a guess. Who? Dutch Keller. The room went silent. Dutch Keller. A name that made even hardened criminals nervous. Psychopath. Sadist. Ran operations in Brooklyn. Had tried to move into Harlem 3 times. Failed every time. And hated Bumpy for it. Why would Dutch take a kid? Willie asked. To get to me. To force me out of Harlem. Or just because he's evil enough to do it. Bumpy pulled out a map. Spread it on the table. Brooklyn. 5 possible locations where Dutch operates. We're checking all of them. Teams of 8. Armed. Careful. If you find Marcus, you call me. Immediately. You do not engage without my order.
Understood. Everyone nodded. What if Dutch has already? Bumpy's voice was ice. Don't finish that sentence. My nephew is alive, and we're bringing him home. Move. 8:45 a.m. The teams dispersed. Junie took Red Hook. Willie took Sunset Park. Raymond took Bay Ridge. Tommy Chen took Chinatown Connections. Bumpy stayed at Small's Paradise, coordinating, waiting. Mamie brought coffee. He didn't drink it, just stared at the map. Mamie put her hand on his shoulder. We'll find him. We have to. And if we don't, we will. But if we don't, then God help whoever took him. Because I won't. 9 a.m. First report. Junie from Red Hook. Boss, I found something. What? A witness, dock worker. Saw a black Cadillac, 2 men, and a kid. Struggling. Where? Pier 7. When? About 8 a.m. An hour ago. Did you follow? Yes. The car went into a warehouse, Dutch Keller's warehouse. Bumpy's pulse quickened. Is Marcus there?
Don't know. Building's locked down. Armed guards. At least 10. I counted. Can you get in? Not without a war. Then wait. I'm coming. Bumpy grabbed his coat, turned to Mamie. Call Marcus Sr. Tell him we found where they took him. Tell him I'm bringing his son home. She grabbed his arm. Bumpy, be smart. Don't go in alone. I'm not. I'm taking everyone. 9:15 a.m. Bumpy arrived at Red Hook. Met Junie. 20 men with him. More arriving. They positioned around the warehouse, watching. Willie called. Boss, I'm 5 minutes out, with 15 more. Good. Tommy? Tommy Chen called in. I'm here, with 10. Bumpy looked at the warehouse, counted windows, exits, guards. This was going to be bloody, but he didn't care. His nephew was inside. 9:30 a.m.
45 men surrounded the warehouse. Bumpy addressed them. My nephew is 8 years old. He's scared, he's innocent, and he's in there with men who want to hurt him. We're going in, hard, fast, no mercy. But, and this is important, no shooting until we secure Marcus. I don't want him caught in crossfire. Understood? Everyone nodded. Bumpy pulled out his watch, checked the time. 9:32 a.m. 2 hours and 32 minutes since Marcus was taken. Bumpy had promised 12 hours. He had 9.5 left.
But he wasn't waiting. He was ending this now. Move. 9:35 a.m. The assault began. Tommy Chen's men hit the back entrance. Willie's men hit the side. Junie's men hit the front. Bumpy walked straight to the main door. With Raymond. Knocked. A guard opened. Saw Bumpy. Tried to slam the door. Bumpy shot him. Once. Chest. The man fell. Bumpy stepped over him. Inside. Chaos. Gunfire. Shouting. Dutch's men scrambling. Bumpy moved through the warehouse. room by room, searching. Raymond covered him. 2 guards appeared. Raymond dropped both. No hesitation. They reached a locked door. Bumpy kicked it open. Inside, an office. Empty. But on the desk, a note. Bumpy picked it up. Read it. His blood went cold. Looking for the boy? He's not here.
He's somewhere you'll never find. You have 12 hours, or he dies. Dutch crumpled the note. Turned to Junie, who'd just entered. He's not here. What? This was a trap, a decoy, to waste our time. Then where is he? I don't know, but we just lost 30 minutes. 10 a.m. Bumpy called off the assault. 3 of Dutch's men dead, 2 wounded. 0 casualties on Bumpy's side. But no Marcus. They regrouped outside. Bumpy was furious. Not at his men, at himself. I walked into it. A decoy. Dutch knew we'd find this place. Knew we'd come. Wasted our time. Willie spoke carefully. Boss, so we had to check. I know. But now we're back to nothing. Not nothing, Tommy Chen said. We know Dutch has him. And we know he's playing games. What kind of games? Psychological. He's trying to break you, make you desperate, make you sloppy. Bumpy looked at his watch. 10:04 a.m. 3 hours and 4 minutes since Marcus was taken. 8 hours and 56 minutes left, if Dutch was telling the truth about the 12-hour deadline. Mamie called. Any news? No, he's not where we thought. Bumpy, Marcus Sr. is here, with Elena. They want to talk to you. Put Marcus on. Bumpy heard his brother's voice. Broken. Did you find him? Not yet, but I will. Bumpy, if anything happens to him. I know. It won't. I promise. There was silence. Then Marcus Sr. spoke. Bumpy, I need you to understand something. What? If you have to choose between catching Dutch and saving Marcus, save Marcus. Always. I know. Good. Because he's all that matters. I understand. Just bring my boy home. 10:15 a.m. Bumpy regrouped at Small's Paradise. Different strategy needed. Tommy Chen spoke first. Dutch is smart. He anticipated our response, knew we'd hit his known locations. So where is he really? Somewhere we wouldn't think to look, Willie suggested. His home? Too obvious. His other businesses? We're already checking those. Then where? Bumpy thought. Then it hit him. He's not in Brooklyn. What? Dutch wanted us to think Brooklyn. That's where the witness saw the car go. That's where his warehouse is. But he knew we'd figure it out. So he's somewhere else. Where? Bumpy pulled out a larger map, all 5 boroughs. If I wanted to hide a kidnapped child, where no one would look, where even my enemies wouldn't think to check, I'd go. He pointed. The Bronx. Tommy nodded. Makes sense. Dutch has no known operations there. Exactly, which makes it perfect. Junie grabbed the phone. I'll call our Bronx contacts, see if anyone's seen anything. Do it, but be discreet. If Dutch knows we're looking there, he'll move Marcus again. 10:30 a.m. While they waited, a package arrived, delivered to Small's Paradise, for Bumpy Johnson. No return address. Bumpy opened it carefully. Inside, a polo of Marcus, tied to a chair, crying, terrified, but alive, and a note. Your nephew is safe, for now. You have 9 hours left. If you want him back, here are my terms. 1. Leave Harlem, permanently. 2. $500,000 cash. 3. Public announcement that you're retiring.
Meet all 3 demands by 7 p.m. tonight, or Marcus dies. You'll receive location instructions at 6:45 p.m. Don't try to find him. Don't try to track this package. Don't involve police. Any of these, and he dies. The clock is ticking. Dutch.
Bumpy stared at the photo. His 8-year-old nephew, terrified. Mamie looked over his shoulder. Oh God, that poor baby. Bumpy's hands were shaking, not from fear, from rage. "What are you going to do?" Bumpy's voice was quiet, deadly. "I'm going to find him, and I'm going to kill Dutch Keller." "And Dutch's demands? Fuck his demands. We're not waiting until 7 p.m. We're finding Marcus now." "But how? We don't know where he is." Bumpy looked at the photo again, studied it. The background, concrete walls, small window, high up, barred, fluorescent lights, industrial. He handed it to Tommy. "What do you see?" Tommy examined it. "Warehouse or factory. Old. The walls are crumbling. The window suggests ground level or basement."
"The lighting is wrong for residential." Bumpy nodded. "Agreed. So we're looking for an abandoned industrial building. In the Bronx. That narrows it down. To what? Maybe 50 locations?" Willie said. "Then we check all 50. We don't have time. Then we make time." Bumpy turned to Raymond. "Quick, I need you to do something." "What?" "Go to Marcus Sr.'s house. Talk to Elena. Ask her about Marcus, what he's afraid of, what he likes, what comforts him." "Why?" "Because if we can't find him in time, I need to know how to help him survive until we do." Raymond left. 10:45 a.m. Junie's Bronx contacts called back. "Boss, we've got something." "What?" 3 days ago, Dutch Keller was seen in Hunts Point, meeting with someone. "Who?" "Local drug dealer."
Named Cisco Rodriguez. Do we know Cisco? Yes. He runs a small operation. Heroin mostly. Works out of an old meatpacking plant. Abandoned? Mostly. He uses one section. The rest is empty. Address? Junie wrote it down. Read it to Bumpy. 672 Barretto Street. Bumpy looked at the map. That's 20 minutes from here. Let's go.
11 a.m. 20 cars, 50 men, descended on Hunts Point. They approached the meatpacking plant carefully. This time, no rushing in. Bumpy had learned. Tommy Chen scouted first, with 5 men. Came back 10 minutes later. It's active. Cisco's there, with maybe 8 guys. Any sign of Marcus or Dutch? No, but there's a basement, locked. Could be holding him there. What's the play? We go in quiet. Take Cisco alive. Make him talk. If Marcus is here, we get him. If not, Cisco tells us where Dutch really is. 11:15 a.m. They moved in. Willie's team took the back. Junie's team took the front. Tommy's team secured the perimeter. Bumpy walked in with Raymond, through the front door. Cisco Rodriguez was in his office, counting money. Looked up.
Saw Bumpy. Went pale. Bumpy Johnson. "Mr. Rodriguez, we need to talk." "About what?" "About Dutch Keller and my nephew." "I don't know what you're talking about." Bumpy pulled out the photo. "This was taken today. My nephew, kidnapped by Dutch Keller. And 3 days ago, Dutch met with you. Here. I'm asking nicely. Where is he?" Cisco's eyes darted to the door. Willie blocked it. Cisco turned to reach for a gun. Raymond was faster. Gun to Cisco's head. "Don't." Cisco froze. Bumpy sat down, across from Cisco. "Let me explain something. I'm having a very bad day. My nephew, who is 8 years old, was grabbed off the street by a psychopath who wants me to abandon my community and pay him $500,000. I'm not doing either. So I'm finding my nephew and killing Dutch. You're going to help me, or you're going to die. Right here, right now. Choose." Cisco was sweating. I can't. Dutch will kill me." "Dutch might kill you. I will kill you. Guaranteed. Unless you talk. Now." Cisco broke. Okay. Dutch came here 3 days ago, said he needed a place to hold someone, temporarily. I said no. He offered me $50,000. I said yes. But what? He's not here. I gave him keys to another building, one I own, in Soundview. Where? Cisco gave the address.
11:30 a.m. They left Cisco alive, tied up, with Willie's men guarding him. "If you lied," Bumpy said, "I'm coming back, and you won't survive." "I'm not lying, I swear." They drove to Soundview.
124 7-story Avenue, another abandoned building, former textile factory. They surrounded it. Tommy scouted again, came back. There's activity. 2 guards outside, maybe more inside. I see lights in the basement. Could be Marcus? Could be. This time, we do it right. No alerts, no warnings. We go in silent, take out the guards, secure Marcus, then deal with Dutch. 11:45 a.m. The assault was surgical. Tommy's men took out the 2 guards outside, silently. Knives, no gunshots. Junie's team entered through a side window, cleared the first floor.
4 more guards, all neutralized. Willie's team found the basement stairs, locked door at the bottom. They picked the lock, opened it carefully. Inside, a room, concrete, cold, industrial lights. And in the center, tied to a chair, Marcus Johnson, Jr., age 8, crying, terrified, but alive. Willie signaled Bumpy. We got him. Bumpy ran down the stairs, burst into the room, saw his nephew. Marcus! The boy looked up. Uncle Bumpy! Bumpy cut the ropes, pulled Marcus into his arms. The boy was shaking, sobbing. Bumpy held him. You're safe. You're okay. I've got you. I want my mom. I know. We're taking you home right now. But Uncle Bumpy. Yes? The bad man? He said he'd kill me. He lied. Nobody's going to hurt you. I promise. 11:50 a.m.
They carried Marcus out, but something was wrong. Bumpy felt it. This was too easy. Where was Dutch? Where were his men? This building should have had 20 guards. It only had 6. Tommy voiced it. This is another decoy. What? Look around. This place is set up, but it's not defended. Dutch wanted us to find Marcus. Why? I don't know, but I don't like it. Bumpy looked at his nephew. The boy was safe. That's all that mattered. Let's go. They loaded into cars. Bumpy with Marcus. Started driving back to Harlem. That's when the radio crackled. Boss, it's Mamie. What's wrong? You need to get back here. Now. Why? What happened? It's your brother. Marcus Sr.? He's gone. What do you mean gone? I mean kidnapped. 10 minutes ago. 3 men.
Took him from his house. Elena's hysterical. And they left another note. What does it say?
Mamie's voice shook reading it. You took something of mine. I took something of yours. Fair trade. You have until 7 p.m. to bring me $500,000 and leave Harlem, or your brother dies. The boy was bait. You fell for it. Dutch. Bumpy's world tilted. Dutch had played him, used Marcus to draw Bumpy away from his brother, sacrificed 6 men and a location just to grab Marcus Sr. It was brilliant and evil. Bumpy looked at his nephew, safe in the back seat, then at his watch. 11:58 a.m. 5 hours since this started. 7 hours left until Dutch's deadline. But now Dutch had his brother, the boy for the man, a trade Bumpy couldn't refuse. Tommy looked at him. What do we do? Bumpy's voice was cold. We kill Dutch Keller, but first we find him.
How? We make him come to us. 12 p.m., noon. They arrived back at Small's Paradise. Elena was there, saw Marcus, broke down crying, grabbed her son, held him. Thank you, Bumpy. Thank you. But where's Marcus Sr.? Bumpy knelt down, looked her in the eyes. Dutch has him. Elena's face went white. No, I'm going to get him back. How? By giving Dutch what he wants. The money? No. A meeting. Face to face. Why would he meet with you? Because I'm going to offer him something better than money or territory. What? Revenge. He wants me destroyed, humiliated. I'm going to give him the chance. In person. 12:15 p.m. Bumpy sent a message, through channels, to Dutch Keller. You want me out of Harlem? Come take it. Face to face. Tonight, 7 p.m.
Madison Square Garden. Boxing ring. You and me. One-on-one. No guns. No men. Just fists. Winner takes all. You win. I leave Harlem. I give you $500,000. And I retire. I win. You release my brother. Leave New York. and never come back. Bring Marcus Sr. to prove he's alive. I'll be there either way. Bumpy Johnson. The response came back in 20 minutes. Deal. See you at 7. Don't be late. Dutch.
12:35 p.m. Mamie grabbed Bumpy. You can't be serious. About what? Fighting Dutch Keller one-on-one? You're 47 years old. So Dutch is a killer, a psychopath. He'll kill you. Then I'll die getting my brother back. Bumpy, this is insane. What's insane is letting Dutch win. He thinks he's smarter than me. He thinks he can take my family, terrorize my community, and walk away. He's wrong. But this fight is the only way. If I give him money, he'll just come back. If I kill him in a war, his people will retaliate. But if I beat him, publicly, in a fair fight, it's over. He loses face, loses power, has to leave. Tommy agreed. It's actually smart. Dutch's entire reputation is built on being feared.
If you beat him, that fear disappears. Willie wasn't convinced. And if you lose? Then I lose, but at least Marcus Sr. goes free. That's the deal. Junie spoke up. Boss, Dutch won't fight fair. He'll cheat. I know. So what's the plan? We cheat better. 12:45 p.m. They spent the next 6 hours preparing, not for a fair fight, for war. Because Bumpy knew Dutch would never honor the deal. He'd try to kill Bumpy, kill Marcus Sr., kill everyone. So Bumpy prepared. Raymond trained with Bumpy. Boxing, fighting, strategy. Tommy positioned men around Madison Square Garden, 30 inside, 20 outside. Willie coordinated weapons, hidden throughout the arena, just in case. Junie worked with Detective O'Brien, police presence.
Officially to keep the peace, really to support Bumpy. Dr. Chen prepared medical supplies in case it went wrong. Everything was ready, except one thing. Bumpy still didn't know if he could beat Dutch. In a fair fight, probably not. Dutch was younger, stronger, more violent. But Bumpy was smarter, more disciplined, more motivated. His brother's life depended on it. That had to be enough. 1 p.m., 6 hours until the fight. Bumpy sat in his office, alone, thinking about his brother, about Marcus Jr., about what was at stake. Mamie came in, sat beside him. You're scared? Yes. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. It's not fear of losing. What is it? Fear of failing. Failing who? My brother, my nephew, my community, everyone who depends on me.
Mamie took his hand. You've never failed them yet. There's always a first time. Not tonight. How do you know? Because I know you. You're Bumpy Johnson. You've survived 30 years in this life. You've beaten everyone who came at you. Dutch Keller is just another name on a long list. And you're going to beat him, just like you beat all the others. How? The same way you always do, by being smarter, tougher, and more determined than anyone else. Bumpy kissed her hand. Thank you. For what? For believing in me. Always.
1:30 p.m. Bumpy received unexpected information from Snake Morrison, Dutch's right-hand man. The call came through a blocked number. Mr. Johnson? Who is this? Snake Morrison, Dutch's second. I know who you are. Then you know I'm calling to betray him. Bumpy signaled for the call to be traced. Why would you do that? Because Dutch crossed a line. What line? The kid, Marcus, 8 years old. I got kids of my own. What Dutch did, using a child as bait. That's not business. That's evil. So you want to help? I want Dutch stopped. But I also want protection. For me and my family. If Dutch finds out I talked to you, he'll kill us all. What do you know? Everything. Where he's keeping your brother? How many men he has? What his real plan is.
Bumpy's pulse quickened. Tell me. Not over the phone. Meet me. Where? St. Patrick's Cathedral. 3 p.m. Confession booth. I'll be there. One more thing. What? Dutch isn't planning to fight you fair. I know. No, you don't understand. He's not planning to fight you at all. What does that mean? It means this is a trap, the biggest one yet. He's going to kill you, your brother, and as many of your men as possible, tonight at Madison Square Garden. He's turning it into a massacre. How many men does he have? 50, all armed, hidden throughout the arena. The moment you step in that ring, they'll open fire. Everyone dies. Bumpy's jaw clenched. Why are you telling me this? Because it's wrong, and because I want out. I'm 43 years old.
Been in this life 20 years. I'm tired. Tired of killing, tired of looking over my shoulder. I want out, and helping you is my ticket. What do you want? Immunity from prosecution and $50,000 to disappear. I'll give you $100,000 and a new identity. Why double? Because the information you're giving me is worth it, if it saves my brother, my men, and stops Dutch. 3 p.m. Bumpy entered St. Patrick's Cathedral. Alone. Well, not alone. Raymond was outside, watching. Junie was across the street, sniper position, just in case this was a trap.
Bumpy entered the confession booth. On the other side, Snake Morrison. Talk, Snake began. Dutch has been planning this for 3 months, since you embarrassed him in February, when you stopped his expansion into Harlem. He's obsessed with destroying you, not just killing you, destroying everything you've built. The kidnapping was step 1, get you emotional, off balance, make you desperate. It worked. Step 2 was the decoy, the warehouse in Red Hook. Waste your time, your resources, make you think you're behind. Also worked. Step 3 was the real kidnapping, your nephew Marcus, but not to hold for ransom, to trade for your brother, the real target. Bumpy leaned forward. Why Marcus Sr.? Because Dutch did his homework. He knows you.
Knows you'd trade anything for family. But he also knows your brother is your weak point, your humanity. If he takes your brother, you become reckless, emotional, easier to kill. Go on. Step 4 is tonight, the fight. But there's no fight. The moment you enter Madison Square Garden, 50 of Dutch's men will open fire. They're positioned in the rafters, the balconies, the exits. You'll be surrounded. No escape. What about my brother? He's already dead. What? Dutch killed him 2 hours ago at 1 p.m. Shot him in the head, disposed of the body in the Hudson River. Bumpy's world stopped. No. Yes. I'm sorry. But Dutch never planned to trade. He's going to bring a body double to the arena. Make you think it's your brother. Get you close.
Then execute everyone. Bumpy's hands were shaking. Not from fear, from rage so intense it was physical. Where is Dutch right now? At his real headquarters, an old brewery in Staten Island. He's been operating from there for 6 months. Nobody knows about it, not even the police. That's where he planned everything. Address? Snake wrote it down, slid it through the partition. 247 Victory Boulevard, Staten Island. Abandoned Rheingold Brewery. He's there now, with 20 men, preparing for tonight. Bumpy took the address. Is this true? About my brother being dead? Snake was quiet. Then, yes, I saw it happen. I tried to stop it. Dutch shot me when I objected. Snake pulled aside his jacket, showed a bandaged shoulder wound.
Fresh. That's why I'm here. I'm done. I'm out. Dutch is a monster, and I won't be part of it anymore. Bumpy believed him. Thank you. For what? For telling me the truth, even though it breaks my heart. I'm sorry about your brother. He was a good man. Dutch shouldn't have killed him. No, he shouldn't have. Bumpy stood. The $100,000 will be delivered tomorrow. New identity arranged. You and your family will be protected. But I need one more thing from you. What? Testify. Against Dutch. If he survives tonight,
I need you to put him away forever. And if he doesn't survive, then your debt is paid, and you're free.
3:30 p.m. Bumpy left the cathedral, walked to where Raymond and Junie were waiting. His face said everything. Boss, Marcus is dead. Dutch killed him 2 hours ago. The men went silent. Bumpy continued. Tonight's fight is a trap. 50 men, armed, positioned throughout the garden. They're planning to kill everyone. So what do? We change the plan. How? We don't go to Madison Square Garden. We go to Staten Island, to Dutch's real headquarters, and we end this. When? Now. 4 p.m. Emergency meeting, Small's Paradise. Bumpy addressed 70 men, his entire organization, plus Tommy Chen's people, plus Detective O'Brien's trusted officers. My brother Marcus is dead, murdered by Dutch Keller. Tonight was supposed to be a fair fight.
But Dutch planned a massacre. 50 armed men at Madison Square Garden, ready to kill everyone. So we're not going to Madison Square Garden. We're going to Dutch in Staten Island, at his headquarters. And we're going to kill every single person in my brother's death. This isn't business anymore. This is vengeance. Tommy spoke up. How many men does Dutch have there? 20, according to Snake Morrison, Dutch's former second, who defected. Can we trust him? He showed me a bullet wound Dutch gave him for objecting to killing Marcus. Yes, we can trust him. Willie asked the tactical question. What's the plan? We hit the brewery. Hard, fast, overwhelming force. 70 men against 20. We take no prisoners, show no mercy.
Every person who participated in my brother's kidnapping and murder dies tonight. Junie added. What about the 50 men Dutch has at Madison Square Garden? Let them wait. By the time they realize we're not coming, it'll be over. Detective O'Brien spoke carefully. Bumpy, what you're describing is a massacre. I know. I can't officially support this. I know. But I won't stop you either. Thank you. Just try to make it clean. No civilians. No bystanders. Only the guilty. Agreed. 4:30 p.m. Before leaving, Bumpy went to his brother's house to tell Elena. She was with Marcus Jr., reading him a story, trying to keep him calm, not knowing his father was dead. Bumpy pulled Elena aside, privately. She saw his face. Knew. No. I'm sorry. No. 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 He's gone. Elena collapsed. Bumpy caught her, held her while she sobbed. How? When? 2 hours ago. Dutch shot him. I just found out. Where is he? The Hudson. We'll recover him. I promise. And Dutch? Tonight. He dies. Good. Elena pulled back, looked at Bumpy with hatred in her eyes. Not for him. For Dutch. Make him suffer. I will. Promise me. Bumpy. Promise me you'll make him suffer for what he did to my husband, to my son, to our family. I promise. Good. Because if you don't, I will. 4:45 p.m. Bumpy visited his brother's room, where Marcus Sr. used to sleep, sat on the bed, thought about their childhood, growing up in South Carolina, poor, hungry, but together. Marcus was the quiet one. Bumpy was the fighter. Marcus wanted peace. Bumpy wanted power. But they loved each other, protected each other. And now Marcus was gone, killed because of Bumpy's life. Bumpy made a vow, sitting in his brother's room, speaking to him as if he could hear. Marcus, I failed you. I should have protected you better, should have seen this coming, should have never let you become a target. But I'll make it right. Dutch Keller will die tonight.
slowly, painfully, and I'll make sure Elena and Marcus Jr. are taken care of, forever.
They'll never want for anything, I promise. I'm sorry, brother. I'm so sorry. Mamie found him there, 15 minutes later, still sitting, silent. It's time. Bumpy stood, wiped his eyes. Let's go. 5 p.m., 70 men, 20 cars, drove to Staten Island. Silent, grim, armed. This wasn't a rescue mission anymore. It was an execution. They parked 3 blocks from the brewery, approached on foot. Tommy Chen scouted first, with 10 men. Reported back. 20 men inside. Like Snake said, Dutch is there. I saw him through a window. 2nd floor. What's the layout? Main entrance. Loading dock and back. Fire escapes on both sides. Windows barred on ground floor. Open on upper floors. How do we play it? Bumpy pulled out the brewery blueprint.
Snake had provided it. We split into 4 teams. Team 1, front entrance, Junie leads, breach and draw fire. Team 2, loading dock, Willie leads, hit them from behind while they're focused on front. Team 3, fire escape west, Tommy leads, secure upper floors, cut off escape. Team 4, fire escape east, Raymond leads, same objective. I go with Team 1, through the front, because I want Dutch to see me coming. 5:15 p.m., teams positioned, synchronized watches. 5:20 p.m., attack begins, on Bumpy's signal. He checked his watch. 5:18, 2 minutes. He looked at his men, Junie, Willie, Raymond, Tommy, men who'd followed him for years, fought beside him, bled for him. Tonight some might die, for his family, for his vengeance.
He spoke quietly. Whatever happens tonight, thank you for standing with me, for risking your lives, for my brother. This isn't just business. This is personal, and I'll never forget it. Junie smiled. Boss, we're family. That's what family does. The others nodded. Agreement. Loyalty. 5:19 p.m. 1 minute. Bumpy pulled out his brother's pocket watch. Marcus Sr. had given it to him years ago. For luck. Bumpy held it, felt its weight, its meaning, then put it back. Tonight wasn't about luck. It was about justice. 5:20 p.m. The signal. Go.
Team 1 charged the front entrance. Junie first, shotgun, blew the door off its hinges, rushed inside. Dutch's men opened fire immediately, but they were caught off guard, not expecting 70 attackers. Team 2 hit the loading dock. Willie's men poured in, flanking Dutch's forces, catching them in crossfire. Team 3 secured the west fire escape. Tommy's men moved through upper floors, room by room, eliminating resistance. Team 4 mirrored east. Raymond's precision, every shot counted. Bumpy walked through the front door, into the chaos, gunfire, smoke, screaming. He moved through it, untouchable, focused, heading for the stairs, for the 2nd floor, for Dutch. 2 of Dutch's men tried to stop him. Bumpy shot the first.
Raymond, right behind him, shot the second. They reached the stairs, started climbing. 5:25 p.m. 2nd floor. Dutch's office. The door was barricaded. Bumpy kicked it. Once. Twice. On the 3rd kick, it splintered. Opened. Inside, Dutch Keller. Alone. Holding a gun. Pointed at Bumpy. Dutch smiled. Bumpy Johnson. Right on time. Where's my brother's body? Dutch's smiled widened. The Hudson, like I promised. Why? Why kill him? You could have used him for ransom, for leverage. Because killing him hurt you more, and hurting you is all I wanted. Bumpy raised his gun. Now I'm going to hurt you. Dutch laughed. Go ahead, shoot me. It won't bring your brother back. No, but it'll feel good. Then do it. Kill me. End this.
Bumpy's finger tightened on the trigger, then stopped. No. What? I'm not shooting you. Why not? Because that's too quick. Too easy. You killed my brother, terrorized my nephew, tried to destroy my family. A bullet is mercy, and I'm not feeling merciful. Dutch's smile faded. So what are you going to do? Bumpy lowered his gun, holstered it, looked at Dutch. You wanted a fight. One-on-one. No guns, just fists. That's what you're going to get. Here. Now. Winner lives. Loser dies. Duchess hesitated, then smiled again. Okay, let's do this. He put down his gun. Both men stood, 3 feet apart, ready.
5:30 p.m. The fight began. Dutch swung first, wild, angry. Bumpy dodged, countered, punched to Dutch's ribs. Dutch grunted, swung again, connected with Bumpy's jaw. Bumpy tasted blood, didn't care. Punched Dutch's face. Once, twice, 3 times. Dutch stumbled, backed into a desk, grabbed a lamp, swung it at Bumpy's head. Bumpy ducked, tackled Dutch. Both men went down, rolling, punching, trying to kill each other with bare hands. Dutch was stronger, younger, got on top, pinned Bumpy, started choking him. Bumpy couldn't breathe, vision going dark. He reached, found Dutch's face, thumb to his eye, pressed, hard. Dutch screamed, released. Bumpy threw him off. Both men stood, gasping, bleeding. Dutch grabbed a knife from his belt.
That's cheating. Fuck fair. Dutch lunged. Bumpy sidestepped, grabbed Dutch's wrist, twisted. The knife clattered away. Bumpy headbutted Dutch. Once, twice. Dutch's nose shattered, blood everywhere. Dutch collapsed, on his knees, beaten. Bumpy stood over him. You killed my brother. Dutch looked up, blood running down his face. Yeah, I did. And I'd do it again. Wrong answer. Bumpy picked up the knife. This is for Marcus. He drove it into Dutch's chest. Once. Dutch gasped, fell backward, dying. Bumpy watched. No satisfaction, no joy, just emptiness. His brother was still dead. This didn't bring him back, but it was over. 5:35 p.m. Bumpy walked out of the office, down the stairs. The fight was finished. 15 of Dutch's men dead.
5 surrendered. 0 casualties on Bumpy's side. Textbook victory. But it didn't feel like winning. Junie approached. Boss, it's done. Dutch, dead. Good. What now? Now we find my brother's body, and we bury him, with honor.
5:45 p.m. Bumpy called Detective O'Brien from Dutch's office, using Dutch's phone. We need recovery teams. For what? Bodies. How many? 20. Where? Abandoned Rheingold Brewery, Staten Island. And one more. Where? Hudson River, near Pier 40. My brother. O'Brien was silent. Then, I'm sorry, Bumpy. Just find him, please. We'll start searching immediately. Thank you. And Bumpy, what? What happened to the brewery tonight? Justice. I'll send crime scene units, but it'll take an hour. Give me 2 hours. Why? Because I need to clean some things up first. Bumpy hung up, looked around Dutch's office. Files, documents, evidence of everything Dutch had done. Drug trafficking, murder, extortion, kidnapping, all documented. Bumpy took it all.
Every file, every ledger, every piece of evidence. This would destroy Dutch's entire organization, expose everyone who worked with him, protected him, funded him. 6 p.m. They loaded the bodies into trucks, all 20, including Dutch. Bumpy looked at Dutch's corpse one last time. No remorse, no regret, just confirmation. The man who killed his brother was dead. Willie approached. What do we do with them? Dump them in the same river where they put Marcus. Poetic? No, practical. Let the police find them, along with all of Dutch's records.
Let the whole truth come out about what he was, what he did, who helped him. Junie agreed. This way we destroy his organization and his legacy. Everything he built, gone. Exactly. 6:30 p.m.
Bumpy returned to Harlem, to Elena. She was waiting, with Marcus Jr., still not knowing his father was dead. Bumpy sat them both down. Marcus Jr. looked at his uncle with innocent eyes. "Uncle Bumpy, where's Daddy?" Bumpy's heart broke. He looked at Elena. She nodded. Permission to tell him. Bumpy knelt, eye level with his nephew. "Marcus, I need to tell you something. About your dad. Is he okay?" "No, buddy, he's not. The bad man, the one who took you, he hurt your daddy." "Is Daddy in the hospital?" "No, Marcus. Your daddy, he's gone." "Gone where?" "Heaven." The boy didn't understand. Not at first. Then slowly, realization. His face crumpled. "Daddy's dead?" "Yes." "Because of me? Because the bad man took me?" "No. Absolutely not. This is not your fault."
But listen to me. Marcus looked at his uncle. Through tears. None of this is your fault. Bad people do bad things. Your daddy died protecting you, protecting our family. He's a hero. But I want him back. I know. So do I. But we can't bring him back. All we can do is remember him, honor him, and make sure his death meant something. How? By living good lives, by being good people, by taking care of each other. That's how we honor him. Marcus Jr. collapsed into Bumpy's arms, sobbing. Bumpy held him, let him cry. Elena cried too, silent tears, for her husband, for her son's loss, for the life they'd never have now.
7 p.m. Bumpy stepped outside, made a call to Snake Morrison. "It's done. Dutch is dead." Snake exhaled relief. "Thank you. Your money will be delivered tomorrow, as promised, and the new identity." "Thank you, Mr. Johnson. One more thing." "What?" "There are 5 men from Dutch's organization still alive. They surrendered. What do you want me to do with them?" Snake thought, then answered, "Let them go." "What?" "They were following orders, like I was, like we all were. Dutch was the evil, not them. They're just soldiers trying to survive. Let them go." Bumpy considered it. "You're more merciful than I am." "Maybe. Or maybe I'm just tired of death. Aren't we all?" "Yes, we are." The 5 men were released, with a warning. "Leave New York, never come back."
"If I ever see you again, you die." They left, grateful, terrified. 7:30 p.m. Detective O'Brien called. "We found him." "Marcus?" "Yes." "Where?" "Pier 40. Exactly where Snake said." "How bad?" "Shot once. Back of the head. Quick. He didn't suffer." "That's something. When can we recover him?" "Crime scene is processing. Give us 2 hours. We'll have him to the morgue by 10 p.m. "Thank you, Patrick, for everything." "Bumpy, I'm sorry. For your loss. For having to go through this. Me too. Your brother was a good man. Better than me." "Yes, he was. I wish I could have done more." "You did enough. You found him. That's all I asked." 8 p.m. The news broke. Dutch Keller found dead, shot and stabbed, at abandoned brewery in Staten Island. 20 of his men also dead. Police discovered extensive evidence of criminal enterprise, drug trafficking, murder, kidnapping, including the kidnapping and murder of Marcus Johnson Sr., brother of Bumpy Johnson, Harlem Gangster. The media went wild. Gang war in Staten Island, Bumpy Johnson's revenge, Dutch Keller's criminal empire exposed. But the story that mattered was buried in paragraph 12. Marcus Johnson Sr., age 42, construction worker, was kidnapped Friday morning, murdered Friday afternoon, his body recovered from Hudson River. He is survived by his wife Elena and son Marcus Jr., age 8. That was all the press cared about, a footnote. But to Bumpy, it was everything. 8:30 p.m. Bumpy gathered his closest people, Mamie, Junie, Willie, Raymond, Tommy, at Small's Paradise, private room. They sat in silence, processing. Finally, Mamie spoke. "Are you okay?" "No, but I will be." "What do you need?" "Time, to grieve, to heal, to figure out how to help Elena and Marcus Jr." "We'll help," Willie said. "Whatever they need. Money, protection, anything." Bumpy nodded. "Thank you. Elena needs a new house, somewhere safe, somewhere without memories of Marcus. And Marcus Jr. needs therapy, help processing this. I'll arrange it." Tommy spoke carefully. "Bumpy, what happened tonight? It was necessary, but also dangerous." "How so?" "You just killed 20 men, exposed a major criminal organization, made enemies of everyone who worked with Dutch. There will be repercussions." "I know. Are you prepared for that?" "I don't care. Let them come." "I mean it, Bumpy. Dutch had connections, partners, people who benefited from his operations. They're going to want revenge. Then they'll end up like Dutch, buried or in prison. I'm not afraid. You should be." "No. What I should be is smarter, more careful, more prepared. And I will be. But I won't live in fear. Not anymore. Life's too short. My brother proved that." Junie changed the subject. "Boss, what about Madison Square Garden?" "What about it?" "Dutch had 50 men there, waiting to ambush us." "What happened to them?" "Detective O'Brien handled it." "How?" "Arrested them all." "What?" O'Brien had his people monitor the garden. When Dutch's men showed up with weapons, they were arrested, all 50, for conspiracy to commit murder. They're all in custody. That's smart. That was Patrick's contribution. He couldn't help us kill Dutch, but he could make sure Dutch's backup plan failed. Remind me to thank him. 9 p.m. Bumpy visited Father Murphy at the church. "Father, I need to plan a funeral for my brother." "Of course, Bumpy. When?" "Soon. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, depending on when the police release his body." "We can do Tuesday, 10 a.m. "Thank you. And Father?" "Yes. I need you to do something else." "What?" "Pray for me." "I always do." "No. I mean really pray. Because I just killed 20 men tonight, and I don't feel guilty."
I feel empty, like nothing matters anymore. Bumpy, you're grieving. I know. But I'm also lost. My whole life I've justified what I do by saying I protect people, protect my community, my family. But I couldn't protect my brother, couldn't save him. So what's the point? What's it all for? The point is you tried. You did everything you could. It wasn't enough. No, it wasn't. But that doesn't make you a failure. It makes you human. We can't save everyone, no matter how powerful we are, no matter how hard we try. Some things are beyond our control.
That's not good enough. I know, but it's the truth. Bumpy sat in the pew, head in hands. Father Murphy sat beside him. "Let me tell you something, Bumpy, about your brother." "What about him?" "He was proud of you. He told me, many times." "Proud of me? I'm a criminal." "He knew that, and he was still proud." "Why?" "Because you protected him, protected his family, gave them a life he couldn't provide alone. He knew what you were, what you did, and he accepted it, because he loved you, and because he understood that you did it for the right reasons.
even if the methods were wrong. But I got him killed. No, Dutch Keller got him killed. You're not responsible for evil men doing evil things. You're only responsible for how you respond.
And you responded by destroying Dutch, by protecting your nephew, by honoring your brother. That's all anyone can do. Bumpy wiped his eyes. Thank you, Father. For what? For reminding me why I do this. 9:30 p.m. Bumpy went home. To Mamie. She was waiting. Made him tea. Sat with him. They didn't talk. Just sat. Together. In silence. Comfortable. Necessary. Finally, Bumpy spoke. I'm tired, Mamie. I know. Tired of fighting. Tired of losing people. Tired of this life. Then change it. How? I don't know. But you're Bumpy Johnson. You've changed everything else. Change this. I can't just walk away. Why not? Because people depend on me. Then train someone to replace you. Who? Junie? Willie? Tommy? Any of them could run Harlem.
But none of them are you. Exactly. So they'd do it differently. Maybe better. You really think that? I think I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm not sure it's made any difference. That's the grief talking. Maybe. Or maybe it's clarity. Marcus lived a normal life, had a normal job, normal family, and he was happy. Happier than me. He died because of my life. Yes, but he lived because of it too. The money you gave him, the protection, the opportunities for Marcus Jr. He had all that because of you. At what cost? His life. That wasn't your choice. It was Dutch's. But the consequence is the same. Marcus is dead, and I'm alive, and I don't know if that's fair. Life isn't fair, Bumpy. No, it's not. Mamie held his hand.
But we survive, and we honor the ones we've lost by living better. How? By being better, kinder, more careful, more intentional about what we do and why. Can I be better? Of course. You already are. You saved Marcus Jr., destroyed Dutch, protected Elena. That's better. But is it enough? For tonight, yes. Tomorrow, we'll figure out the rest. 10 p.m. Detective O'Brien called. We've released your brother's body to the funeral home. Which one? Coleman's, on 131st. Thank you. And Bumpy? Yeah? Those 50 men we arrested at Madison Square Garden? They're talking, saying Dutch had partners, big ones. Who? Some city officials? Some businessmen? Some other gangsters? They're all going down. Dutch's entire network is being exposed.
Good. This is going to be big, bigger than Capone. Dutch kept records of everything, everyone he paid off, everyone who helped him. It's all coming out. Let it. The more corruption exposed, the better. Agreed. And Bumpy? What? I'm sorry about your brother. Me too, Patrick. Me too.
10:30 p.m. Bumpy visited the funeral home. Saw his brother's body. Cleaned, prepared, at peace. He sat beside the casket, talked to Marcus, like he was still alive. Marcus, I'm sorry. For everything. For the life I led that put you in danger. For not protecting you better. For not seeing this coming. You deserved better. Better than me. Better than this life. Better than dying at 42. But I promise you something. Elena and Marcus Jr. will be taken care of. Forever. They'll never want for anything. I'll make sure Marcus Jr. grows up safe, happy, away from this life, away from the violence, away from everything that killed you. He'll have choices, opportunities, a future. And I'll tell him about you, about how good you were, how kind.
How different from me. How you were the better brother. I'll make sure he knows. I promise. Bumpy put his hand on the casket, felt the cold wood, the finality. Goodbye, brother. I love you. 11 p.m. Bumpy returned to Small's Paradise. One last meeting. With Snake Morrison. Snake game. Nervous. Grateful to be alive. Mr. Johnson. Snake. Thank you for your help today. Without your information, I couldn't have saved Marcus Jr. or stopped Dutch. I'm glad I could help. Your $100,000 is ready. And your new identity. Where are you going? California. San Francisco. Far from this life. Starting over. Good. Do it right. Be better than we were. I will. I promise. Snake turned to leave, then stopped. Mr. Johnson. Yes. I'm sorry about your brother.
I tried to stop it. Tried to convince Dutch it was wrong. But he wouldn't listen, and when I pushed, he shot me. I know. It's not your fault. Still, I wish I could have done more. You did enough. You saved my nephew, and you helped me stop Dutch. That's more than most people would have done. Thank you. Snake left. Bumpy watched him go. Hoped he'd actually change. Actually become better. Actually escape this life. Because Bumpy couldn't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But at least Snake had a chance. 11:30 p.m. Bumpy was alone. In his office. Thinking about the day. 12 hours ago, his nephew was kidnapped. Now, Marcus Jr. was safe. His brother was dead. Dutch Keller was dead. 20 criminals were dead. 50 more were arrested.
An entire criminal organization was exposed. Justice, some would say. Vengeance, others. Bumpy called it survival. Midnight, June 16, 1951. The worst day of Bumpy Johnson's life was over, but its consequences would last forever.
June 19, 1951. Tuesday, 10 a.m. Marcus Johnson Sr.'s funeral. Abyssinian Baptist Church. Packed. Over 2,000 people. Family, friends, community members. People who'd never met Marcus, but came because he was Bumpy's brother. The casket sat at the front, closed, surrounded by flowers, white lilies. Marcus's favorite. Elena sat in the front row, Marcus Jr. beside her, both in black, both broken. Bumpy sat behind them, with Mamie, silent, stoic, but inside, shattered. Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr. gave the eulogy. Marcus Johnson Sr. was a man of peace, in a world of violence, a man of work, in a world that often denied black men honest labor, a man of family, who loved his wife, adored his son, respected his brother.
Even when that brother walked a different path, Marcus didn't judge, didn't condemn. He understood that life is complicated, that people are complicated, that love transcends choices. He looked at Bumpy. Some of you know Bumpy Johnson as a gangster, a criminal, a dangerous man. But Marcus knew him as a brother, a protector, a man who, despite his methods, cared deeply for his family, his community. Marcus accepted Bumpy, not because he approved of everything Bumpy did, but because he loved him. And love means accepting people, flaws and all. The congregation was silent. Reverend Powell continued. Marcus died because evil exists in this world, because Dutch Keller, a man consumed by hatred and greed, decided to hurt Bumpy by taking Marcus.
That's not Bumpy's fault. It's Dutch's. But I know Bumpy feels responsible, feels guilty, feels like he should have protected his brother better. He looked directly at Bumpy. Bumpy, your brother wouldn't want you to carry that guilt. He'd want you to live, to honor his memory by being better, by protecting Elena and young Marcus, by using your power to help, not hurt. That's the legacy Marcus would want. Not revenge, not violence, but change, transformation, redemption. Can you do that? For him?
Bumpy's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in 30 years, public tears. He nodded. Once. Reverend Powell concluded, "Let us pray for Marcus Johnson Sr., a good man, taken too soon. May he rest in peace.
And may we honor him by living better lives. Amen. Amen."
10:45 a.m. The burial. Woodlawn Cemetery. The same cemetery where Bumpy would be buried 17 years later. They lowered Marcus's casket into the ground. Elena sobbed. Marcus Jr. stood silent, not understanding, not accepting. Bumpy put his hand on his nephew's shoulder. The boy looked up at him. "Uncle Bumpy, why did they kill Daddy?" "Because bad people exist." "But why Daddy? He didn't do anything bad." "No, he didn't." "So why?" "Because they wanted to hurt me, and they knew killing your father would do that." "Is it your fault?" Bumpy knelt down, eye level with his nephew. "Yes, it is. But also no. I didn't pull the trigger. But my life, my choices, they created the situation. So I'm responsible. Does that make you bad? I don't know."
Maybe. Probably. But I'm trying to be better. For you. For your mom. For your dad's memory. How? By protecting you. By making sure nothing like this ever happens again. By being the man your father believed I could be. The boy hugged him. "Don't let anyone hurt Mom." "I won't. I promise." 11:30 a.m. After the burial. Reception at Marcus Sr.'s house. Now, Elena's house. Bumpy announced changes. In front of 50 people. Family. Close friends. "I'm buying Elena a new house. Somewhere safe. Away from memories. Away from danger. Somewhere Marcus Jr. can grow up normal. The house will be in Elena's name. Paid in full. No mortgage. No debt. Additionally, I'm setting up a trust fund for Marcus Jr.'s education. $100,000. Managed by a bank."
Elena can't touch it. Only Marcus Jr. When he turns 18. For college. Or business. Or whatever future he chooses. Finally, I'm giving Elena $50,000. Cash. To live on. To rebuild. To have security. Elena looked at him, shocked. "Bumpy, that's too much." "No, it's not enough, but it's what I can do. I can't bring Marcus back. Can't undo what happened. But I can make sure you and Marcus Jr. are taken care of. Forever. That's my responsibility. My duty. My penance." Elena cried. Hugged him. "Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm the reason he's dead. No, Dutch Keller is the reason he's dead. You're the reason we're alive. There's a difference." 1 p.m. Bumpy met privately with Marcus Jr. in the boys' room. "Marcus, I need to tell you something." "What?"
Your father was the best man I ever knew. Better than me. Better than anyone I've met. He was kind, patient, good, everything I'm not. But I'm going to try. Try to be like him. For you. Why for me? Because you're his son. And you deserve to have someone in your life who represents what he believed in. Not what I am. What he was. So I'm making you a promise. What promise? I promise to protect you. Always. To make sure you have opportunities I never had. Education. Choices. A future without violence. Without crime. Without this life. But what if I want to be like you? No. You don't. Yes, I do. You're strong. Everyone respects you. You protect people. Marcus, listen to me. Carefully. The boy listened. I protect people.
Yes, but I also hurt people. I kill, I steal, I break laws. I live in constant danger, constant fear, never knowing if today's the day someone kills me. That's not a life. That's survival. And survival is exhausting. Your father knew that. That's why he chose a different path. And that's the path I want for you. School, college, a career, a family, a life where you wake up without wondering if you'll survive the day. That's what your father wanted, and that's what I'm going to help you achieve. Promise? Promise. The boy hugged him again. Bumpy held him, thinking about his own father, who died when Bumpy was 15, who never got to see what Bumpy became. Would his father be proud or ashamed? Bumpy didn't know, but he knew this.
Marcus Jr. would have a better life, no matter what it cost.
3 p.m. meeting with Bumpy's core team, Small's Paradise, addressing the aftermath. Junie reported first. Boss, the fallout from Dutch's death is significant. How so? 23 arrests so far. City officials, police officers, businessmen, all connected to Dutch's organization. The district attorney is calling it the biggest corruption investigation in New York history. Good. Let them clean house. Willie added, Dutch's remaining associates are either fleeing or flipping, testifying against each other. His entire empire is collapsing. What about threats? Against us? Some. 3 different crews have made noise about avenging Dutch. How serious? Not very. They're scared. They saw what we did in Staten Island. They don't want that smoke.
Keep monitoring. First sign of real threat, we move. Tommy Chen spoke. Bumpy, there's something else. What? The commission wants a meeting. Why? To discuss what happened. You killed 20 men, exposed massive corruption, made headlines nationally. They want to know your intentions. My intentions? Are you expanding? Taking over Dutch's territories? Starting a war? Tell them no, to all of it. I'm not expanding, not taking territory, not starting wars. I'm staying in Harlem, same as always. This was personal, not business. They'll want to hear that from you. Then set it up. When? This Friday, Atlantic City. I'll be there, 6 p.m. Bumpy visited Mamie. At home, she was cooking. Comfort food. Mac and cheese, collard greens, cornbread.
Marcus's favorites. Bumpy sat at the kitchen table, watched her cook. She spoke without turning around. How are you holding up? Honestly? I don't know. Some moments I'm fine. Other moments I can't breathe. That's grief. Yes. How long does it last? Forever. But it changes, gets less sharp, more manageable. You learn to live with it. I don't want to learn to live with it. I want my brother back. I know, but you can't have that. So what do? You honor him by living well, by taking care of his family, by being better. That's what everyone keeps saying. Be better, be better. But what does that actually mean? Mamie turned around, looked at him. It means making different choices. What kind of choices? Less violence, more community building.
Less crime, more legitimate business. Less taking, more giving. You want me to go straight? No. I know who you are, what you are, but I want you to evolve. How? By recognizing that power isn't just about fear, it's about respect. And respect comes from helping people, not hurting them. You've been doing this for 30 years. You've survived, you've thrived, you've built an empire. But what's it all for? For family, for community. Then focus on that. Less on expansion, less on wars, less on proving you're the toughest. You've already proven that. Now prove you're the smartest by building something that lasts, something good, something Marcus would be proud of.
8 p.m. Bumpy couldn't sleep, kept thinking about his brother, about Marcus Jr., about legacy. He walked Harlem streets, alone, something he rarely did. Dangerous, but necessary. Needed to think, needed to feel. He passed Marcus Sr.'s construction sites, places his brother had worked, built, created. Honest work, humble work, but meaningful. He passed PS 154, where Marcus Jr. should be safe, walking to school, without fear. He passed Small's Paradise, his empire's headquarters,
built on crime, violence, fear. Different from what Marcus built. But was it better, or just more profitable? He didn't know anymore. 10 p.m. Bumpy ended up at Abyssinian Baptist Church. Empty now, but the doors were open. He walked in, sat in a pew.
Looked at the altar, thought about faith, about redemption, about whether men like him could be saved. Father Murphy appeared from the shadows. "Bumpy, I thought I'd find you here." "Why?" "Because guilty men always return to church. Eventually." "Am I guilty?" "Of what?" "Everything." Father Murphy sat beside him. "Tell me, what happened that night?" "Dutch." "Everything." Bumpy told him. All of it. The kidnapping, the rescue, the trap, his brother's death, the revenge, the 20 men he killed. Father Murphy listened, said nothing. When Bumpy finished, he asked, "Am I going to hell?" "Probably, but maybe not." "Explain." "Hell isn't a place. It's a state of being separated from love, from connection, from purpose. You've been living in hell for 30 years.
Killing, stealing, surviving, but never really living. That's hell. So how do I escape? By choosing love over fear, by building instead of destroying, by becoming the man your brother believed you were. Is that possible? For me? I don't know. But you won't know unless you try. 11 p.m. Bumpy made a decision, called an emergency meeting. Everyone, Small's Paradise. Midnight. They gathered. 50 people. Confused, concerned, wondering what emergency warranted midnight showing. Bumpy stood at the front. "I'm making changes." "What kind of changes?" "To how we operate." "How?" "First, we're getting out of drugs. All of it. Completely." "Boss, that's 40% of our revenue." "I don't care. Drugs destroy communities. I've seen it."
I won't be part of it anymore. Second, we're reducing violence. No more killing unless absolutely necessary. Self-defense only. No more wars. No more revenge hits. No more proving points. But no buts. This is how it's going to be. Third, we're investing in the community. Businesses, schools, youth programs. Half our profits go back to Harlem, to build, to improve, to create opportunities. "You're going soft," someone muttered. "No, I'm going smart. There's a difference. Soft means weak. Smart means strategic. Fighting all the time is exhausting, expensive, wasteful. Building is smarter, more profitable, more sustainable." Junie stepped forward. "Boss, I support this, but you need to know, some people won't." "Who?" "The young guys, the hungry ones."
They want war, want to prove themselves, want to take territory. Then they can leave or follow the new rules. This is my organization, my decision. Anyone who doesn't like it can walk. No one walked. Good. Then it's settled. We're changing, starting now.
Epilogue, 1968.
June 7, 1968, 17 years later. Bumpy Johnson died, heart attack, age 63, at the Wells restaurant in Harlem, surrounded by friends. His funeral was massive, 5,000 people, the largest Harlem had ever seen. Politicians, musicians, athletes, criminals, police, everyone. Reverend Powell gave the eulogy again. Bumpy Johnson was many things: criminal, gangster, killer. But he was also a protector, a builder, a man who, after his brother's death in 1951, chose to change. Not completely. He never went straight, never abandoned his empire, but he transformed it, made it less about destruction, more about construction.
In the 17 years after Marcus Johnson Sr.'s death, Bumpy built 12 community centers, funded 20 scholarships, started 5 youth programs, reduced drug trafficking in Harlem by 60%, reduced violence by 70%, invested over $2 million in local businesses. That's legacy. Not the crimes, not the violence, but the change, the transformation, the attempt to be better. And in the front row, Marcus Johnson Jr., now 25 years old, college graduate, Columbia University, law degree, working as a community organizer. Everything his father wanted, everything his uncle promised. Marcus Jr. stood, addressed the crowd. My uncle Bumpy saved my life when I was 8, and in doing so, he lost his brother.
My father. That loss changed him, made him question everything, made him choose a different path. Not a perfect path, not a completely legal path, but a better path. My father was a good man, peaceful, kind. He didn't deserve to die. But his death wasn't meaningless, because it transformed my uncle, made him realize that power without purpose is empty, that strength without compassion is cruelty, that legacy matters more than reputation. Today we bury Bumpy Johnson, criminal, yes, but also uncle, protector, builder, the man who kept his promise to my father, by taking care of me, by giving me opportunities, by making sure I had choices. I'm a lawyer because of him. I help people because of him. I fight for justice because of him.
That's his real legacy. Not the crimes, the change. Rest in peace, Uncle Bumpy. You kept your promise. And I'll keep mine. To continue the work you started. To build. To help. To make Harlem better. That's how I'll honor you. And Dad. By being the man you both believed I could be. The crowd applauded, cried, celebrated. Because Bumpy Johnson's story wasn't just about crime. It was about transformation. About a man who lost his brother. And in that loss, found purpose. Found meaning. Found a way to be better. Not perfect, but better. And sometimes, that's enough.
2025.
Marcus Johnson III, grandson of Marcus Sr., son of Marcus Jr., age 52, standing at Bumpy Johnson's grave, with his own son, Marcus IV, age 10, the same age Marcus Jr. was when his father died. Daddy, who was Bumpy Johnson? Marcus III smiled. He was your great-great-uncle. Was he bad? Some people thought so. What do you think? I think he was complicated. He did bad things, but also good things. He hurt people, but also helped people. He was a criminal, but also a builder. He wasn't perfect, but he tried to be better. That's all any of us can do. Try. The boy looked at the gravestone. Bumpy Johnson, 1905-1968. Brother, uncle, protector. Did he succeed? At what? Being better. Marcus III thought about his grandfather, his father.
The opportunities they had, the life he had, all because Bumpy kept his promise. Yes, he succeeded. How do you know? Because we're here, living good lives, having choices, helping people. That's his legacy. That's how he succeeded. The boy smiled. I want to be like that. Like what? Someone who tries to be better. Good. Then you're already succeeding.
If this story of loss, revenge, transformation, and legacy moved you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like if you believe that people can change, even after tragedy. Share this with someone who needs to hear about the 12 hours that broke Bumpy Johnson, but also remade him. What would you have done in Bumpy's position? Let me know in the comments. And remember, tragedy can destroy us, or it can transform us. The choice is ours. Bumpy Johnson chose transformation, and 3 generations later, his family is still benefiting from that choice. That's legacy. That's redemption. That's